All right, welcome to the Briones Pickleball Podcast. My name is Jordan Briones, your host, and today we have a super special guest. Top five Duber player in the world.
I'll take it.
James Ignatowich.
Thank you for having me on. I've watched a few of these. I've always been a fan of the podcast, and I was begging you to let me on. I saw you at the tournament. I was like, Jordan, you got to let me on the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, it didn't really go that way, but but I do appreciate it, man, and I do appreciate you coming right after, or actually, Championship Sunday just finished, so
yep,
appreciate you coming on.
Well,
where do we go? Where do we go from here, man?
It was my first Championship Sunday of the year that I wasn't playing, which is actually sort of a good thing, but a bad thing because we made the finals in the first two tournaments, Anna and I, and then in the semis, I hurt my shoulder I had a shoulder issue all week, and I tried to play through it, and then
is that rotator cuff or what?
It's like front shoulder. In a couple days when I get with my trainer, I'll know. Minnesota's in question. It might be.
Oh, really?
For sure.
Oh, wow.
I think it's doubtful. Minnesota and Austin, unfortunately. I think it'll be a little bit. But it is what it is. And then I played men's. I played through it in the men's semi, and I probably shouldn't have because I think I made it worse. But it is what it is. Now I'm here, and this is where I want to be, the Briones podcast.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate it, man. And I have been following your game since you've been on the scene. And, yeah, we could get into a lot of different topics. If you're listening to this podcast, we're going to get into a lot of teaching stuff because actually you do a good amount of teaching, and we'll talk about that. But first, James, I know I'm controlling this at the same time, but to start off, I don't know that much about you. I do know that you played some pretty high-level tennis, and why don't you tell the viewers, and I know, sorry if you've gone over this before, but like, what's your background just briefly? How'd you get into the sport? And we'll just go from there, man.
Yeah. Should I look at that camera or should I look at you?
You can look at me. If you want to talk to the audience, you can look right there.
Okay. I might flip between camera and you. I might decide. Good. Yeah. If I'm not liking you, I'll go to the camera.
You go.
And then, so I played tennis my whole life. When I was 5 years old, I got put into tennis, and my parents never played tennis. They just put me into a bunch of sports. My dad ran track at UConn, D1. He was really fast. He had some sort of record and something that's been broken. I don't really know. I don't really remember. Who cares?
Like track? You mean track or something?
Yeah, okay. Something. He was fast. And so I did that. He did that. Then I just went right into a bunch of different sports. I tried tennis. I played basketball when I was younger, and I was actually pretty good at basketball, and tried everything. And then for whatever reason, I got really good at tennis. I just had a talent for tennis. So I wasn't a kid whose parents like pushed him into tennis. My parents played tennis. It wasn't like that. I wasn't like a prodigy. I just was just good at it, and got to the point where I played Division I tennis at Vanderbilt. And when I was in high school.
Where's Vanderbilt at? What state?
Tennessee.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So it was interesting because when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, that was like my prime in tennis. Like I was very good. I got ATP points, like professional points.
When you were 16?
Yeah. So I was very good, and I peaked at number 5 in the nation in tennis.
In juniors.
Yeah, in juniors. So I was good.
So over like under 18, or how does that work?
At that time, it was like based on recruiting class. This thing called tennis recruiting.
Got it.
Yeah, but I think overall, I had gotten like, to the semis of Easter Bowl. Like I was really good when I was 16, but then it all went downhill. So I just started to kind of, get into some stuff that maybe wasn't conducive to being a successful anything. I kind of got a little lazy, and I got sidetracked, girls and stuff, all that bad stuff, and I just didn't get any better since I was 16. And then in college, I kind of fizzled out. I joined a fraternity, and Vanderbilt's a very fun school.
So sorry, real quick, backing up. You did get a full ride scholarship to Vanderbilt to play.
I didn't get a full ride. I got a scholarship, but in college men's tennis, there's only 4.5 scholarships per team.
Got it.
So my scholarship was, it was significant, but it wasn't 100%. It oftentimes happened in D1 tennis. We like 80% scholarship, whatever that might be.
Got it. So you weren't the number 1 or 2 seed there.
No.
Got it. Okay.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's because talent-wise and like where I was as a recruit, I very well could have been, but I just didn't live up to my potential, and I was lazy, and I just was off the team in 2 years. College tennis wasn't for me. I joined a fraternity. I had a lot of fun, and my college career, tennis career was bad, but my college experience was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything, and it's a big part of why I'm here today, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, cool, man. All right, so you did that. And so I'm assuming, or I'm guessing, that you didn't do 4 years of college tennis then.
Oh no.
So what did you do then? Just 1 year and out, or what? Like what happened?
Yeah. So my freshman year was the year of COVID. So COVID happened in the spring of my freshman year. In college.
Dude, how old are you?
23.
Okay. See, man, you're young, dude. I thought you were older. Okay, so still COVID. All right. COVID year was your
because I'm so
freshman
mature.
year.
You thought I was older.
Yeah, maybe.
No, so yeah, I was a freshman,
Okay.
and so that didn't happen, and I wouldn't have started anyway. To be completely honest, I was already just not doing the right things.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any massive trouble, but I just was showing up late to practices, and it was not good. And then my sophomore year, I just ended up quitting the team. I think it was a mix of me deciding that tennis really wasn't working out for me. It didn't look like I was going to start, and I wasn't going to start. And I never really like jumped into pickleball. It wasn't something where I was like, okay, I'm going to quit tennis and just play pickleball. It was like, okay, I'm done with tennis. Now I'm going to just be a regular student. And I was a regular student. I gained like 25 pounds. I was like 205 pounds.
Really? Like muscle or
No.
not muscle?
I had like a beer belly.
What?
I was out of shape. I looked horrible.
Dude, do we have any pictures of this?
No. And if they are out there, I'm going to delete them. No pictures. I looked horrible, and I was in a fraternity, and I was doing all the wrong things, and I was getting good grades. That was the only thing I cared about. Just make sure I get good grades so I get a good job. And then, I was in bad shape. And then my junior year of college.
And this is after COVID now, right?
Yeah. So this is 2 years ago now, in 2021.
Okay.
In October of 2021, I was kind of, I was kind of like lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't doing any physical activity, just a lot of short-term gratification and not really being responsible. And then I saw pickleball, and I just was like, okay, I'll play it, because I was in South Florida, so there was a lot of people that did play it. Picked up a paddle, and I was like, wow, this is fun. I never thought I was going to be a pro. I didn't even know what being a pro was until like I was 4 months in. I just was having a ton of fun, and I got addicted to it organically.
So wait, 2021, you're saying is the first time ever you played?
Yes.
Dude, so I didn't know that. So you haven't really been playing that long.
No, not long at all.
Wow, dude. So we're talking about 2021 of what month?
October.
So less than 3 years we're talking about.
Yeah, I've been playing for 2 years and 3 months.
Wow, dude.
And for those who
That's
don't believe
crazy.
me, there's some people that don't believe me, especially like a year ago, because I got better pretty quick. I've got like notes in my phone of, I've kept like a pickleball journal, because I was so in love with the game, and I still am, but I was so obsessed with it that I kept a journal that I would write in every day of like what I saw on YouTube, like, oh, what did Ben Johns do on YouTube, or what did Riley Newman hit on YouTube, like, and I would just watch and try to copy them.
Did you come across any of my videos on YouTube?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm on this podcast.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. No.
No, I mean, I was mostly just watching the pros and like trying to just do that, and just and this was when I was like maybe 6 or 7 months in, when I really got serious with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all these notes, I mean, you'll see, like I lost in the finals of a 4-5 men's doubles in May of 2022.
Dude, that's crazy.
People don't realize that. Like, it's not
Wow.
hasn't been a while.
So you were a 4-5 2 years ago then. Would you say that?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow. Is that the first tournament you entered? Was it 4-5 or 4-0? Like, what was it?
the first tournament I entered was a 5-0 doubles in Delray Beach, Florida, and I was playing with Evan Specht, who is now the CEO of Diadem.
Really?
Which is like, not to shout out Diadem, who cares about Diadem, but it's all Selkirk over here.
Yeah.
But so I was playing with him, and he's been it's funny, it's kind of a random connection, because he actually used to teach me tennis. So for those who don't know, like, the CEO of Diadem was my tennis coach when I was from like 13 to 17 years old.
Wow.
And
No,
And I
CEO.
still don't use the paddle. So what does that say about diadem paddles?
No, but CEO of a Diadem, the pickleball part, or just the whole Diadem?
Entire.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he really. It's crazy. I never would have expected that he would have done it. I used to think he was such a loser, and then now he's. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know how he did it, but diadem really. It's funny because I was 14, and he was coming up with the idea of diadem, like in front of me. Like he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna come up with this like tennis racket company," and I was like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're not."
Wait, when you were 14.
Yeah. He was coaching me. The current CEO.
Oh, see, I thought Diadem has been around longer than that. I didn't know that.
And he was like, and I remember all the guys at our academy were like
That's
making fun of him. We were like,
crazy,
dude, this is
bro.
like some pie in the sky thing. Like you're not gonna make it.
Dude.
And now it's a huge deal. So I'm super proud of him. Not that I've ever told him that. I'm not gonna give that up.
Yeah. No, okay, that's cool. So yeah, so you got into it really quickly, man. I did not know how long you really have been playing, which is a really short time. So okay, so from there, James, what do people call you? Is it James, Jim, Jimmy? What do you go by, dude?
That's actually a really good question, and nobody's asked me that question. And
Really?
Yeah, nobody asks me that because
So-
it's usually from other people. It's James. It's always just been James. But when I'm on the court and I'm talking to myself, I call myself Jimmy. I don't know why.
Okay.
But like
Well,
if I
is that what your parents or friends?
No, nobody ever called me Jimmy.
So wait, what do your parents
James,
call you?
James.
Okay,
Everybody calls
James.
me James.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one syllable. It's easier. You don't really need a nickname. James turns into nickname Jimmy. That's one syllable turning into a 2-syllable nickname. It makes no sense. James is fine enough. It's easy enough. But I call myself Jimmy, especially when I hit a good shot. I'm like, ooh, Jimmy. People are like, what?
What does Anna call you?
James.
Oh, okay.
Or
all right.
no, just kidding. Can't say what I was about to say.
All right. Or something else. Something else like
Father figure of sorts.
there you go, or something. Okay. All right, cool, dude. So you got in first. What was your first first win in pickleball that you kind of knew? Like you found out about the pro scene. What was your first win that you kind of knew? Oh, I can compete with the very best.
So this is a funny story. I had played a 4-5 and a 5-0 and whatever, and I was still in college at the time. I was a junior in college. This was this was less than 2 years ago, in the spring of 2022, and I had just started dating Anna, and Anna had her big run in Punta Gorda in February, and she had become famous in the pickleball community because Anna won the APP.
Wait a minute. You guys started dating when?
In March of 2022.
So you were playing pickleball already,
I was playing pickleball, but I wasn't serious.
and you weren't even.
She was.
Yeah. So okay, got it.
So I wasn't serious about pickleball. I was still in school. I had just lost in like 4-5, and I wasn't really fully invested. I was just having fun with it.
Dude.
But she had just won APP Punta Gorda, and everybody was talking about her. It was all like, everybody remembers. Like Anna Bright in her second tournament ever wins both singles and doubles.
Wow.
And so that happened. And then we were talking, and she was like, yeah, there's this PPA in Florida, and it's like a big pickleball tournament. You should play it, and you should play singles for the first time. I'd never played singles.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, it's a good chance to be with Anna, hang out with Anna, and see what happens. And first round, I get out there, and it's a guy named Thomas Wilson.
Yeah.
First round of singles. I had no idea who he was. I knew that he was a high seed, and back then there was no qualifying. I just signed up for pro and got into pro.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning the match in straight sets. And it was like maybe I'd practiced singles like 5 times before then. And I just, I think that was one of the last singles matches that Thomas played. Actually, I think I might have retired Thomas. But anyway, so I played Thomas. I didn't realize it was a good win. I just, I thought, wow, that guy's got a pretty silky forehand.
Yeah.
Handsome guy, Thomas Wilson is. That was really all the thing I was thinking about. Then I played AJ Kohler second round, and I won that one also. And then I lost to Tyson in the quarters.
And what was it close?
Tyson, no, not close. I got waxed by Tyson. I just wasn't. I think I was actually physically drained. Like my third because when you're getting started in singles, it's tough. Like
I know.
I was like, not that I would have won anyway, but I got destroyed. And then it was only until people after the tournament were like, James, you beat Thomas Wilson, you beat AJ Kohler in your first tournament. Like, that's amazing. And I guess I was like, okay.
So that was it.
That was it. I was like, let's do it.
Now, really quick, in that tournament, did you not play mixed with Anna or no one, or you didn't play men's either? You just played singles.
I signed up for 5-0 men's. I played 5-0 men's, and I think I lost both.
Oh, you're 2 and out.
Yeah, I went 2 and out in 5-0
Wow.
men's.
Okay.
Shout out to my boy Neil. It was me and Neil. We went out bad. We got destroyed.
So from there, you kind of got a glimmer of like what you could be, but that was from the singles perspective. You never thought it was like, oh, I could be really good at doubles then.
I didn't think I would be good at doubles until maybe the late summer, maybe like, I don't know. It took me a while to believe that I would be good at doubles. It's funny. Like, I see a lot of these guys, they come from tennis and they think that they're a little overconfident, and they call it like pickleball delusion. They think they're going to be better than they are. I had like the reverse of that. I thought I had no chance because I never was good at doubles really in tennis. I never played a lot of doubles.
See, that's crazy. So you're saying you're a better singles player then?
In tennis, way better.
See, that's most players. Well, we're seeing most players in the game, I think today, they're good at doubles. In tennis, it's usually a quicker transition. But you're saying it was the opposite for you. Yeah.
For me, it was. Well, I mean, I think I just never played doubles in tennis. Really, I played like a couple tournaments, but that was it. And I never had good feel in tennis, and I never had good volleys, and I never had good hands.
How?
So it was weird. I was a guy in tennis who just had a big serve, and I would just rip backhands.
You had to have decent volleys, though.
No, I had no volleys. I had no ability to volley, and that was what I was known for in tennis. They were like, oh, that guy's got no hands. He can't volley the ball. He can't drop shot the ball. He's just got a big serve and a good backhand. My forehand was horrible because it was broken. Like, it's funny. I would have been good at tennis, been better at tennis if I had just went about it the right way, but I didn't. And my volleys were so bad. So it's actually funny. Like, when I came in.
Well, we're going to have to get into that because I don't know how that's possible, dude.
Yeah. No, and when I got into pickle and I had my first couple of results, all my friends from tennis were like, wait, it's that easy? James got good at pickle? He's like the last guy who would have thought that would have been good at a sport like that.
Okay.
So no, to answer your question, I never thought I would have been good at doubles. And I remember vividly at that PPA, that first PPA I played, where I had the singles results. And I was like, okay, maybe I knew I could be good at singles, but like, where does that really take you? And I watched the doubles, and I was watching JW and Dylan play in the final against Riley and Matt in that tournament in Florida. And I was watching the dinking and the volleys, and I was like, that's just, I don't have that. I'm just never going to be that good. Wow. Or even the other guys. Like, I was watching Tyson and Jay. Yeah. And I just remember seeing, and I was like, wow, these guys they just have sick hands. Like, this is what the top of pickleball is. I don't have that talent. And I never thought I would be that good at doubles, ever.
Wow. Okay. So that turned around quick, huh?
Yeah, it just kind of snuck up on me. Okay. One day I'm good at it. It was
all right. Weird. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, wow. Okay, James. Well, I don't even know where to go from there, dude. So what do you think? What do you think it was then? So what flipped the switch then? You didn't. You're telling me you didn't have the best hands in tennis. Mm-hmm. You were like more a serve and volleyer. No, not even serve and volleyer. Big serve, big. Not even big forehand. You're just saying
big serve, and then I just grind.
Just grind it. Yeah. Okay.
I was known to never come in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never volley.
So how did you develop what you are today then? Obviously, some of your strengths in the game, I would say, is volleying and countering, and speed ups as well. So how did that happen then? What do you think?
Well, I think it's weird. I did it so many times. I played so much, and I was so engaged when I played at first because I was, and this might not land for some people, but I'm pretty sure that this is what happened. When I played tennis, I was always trying to get better, and I was always focused on improving things. And I was thinking, okay, because I really cared in tennis, and I really thought that I could be good. So I would think, okay, this on the forehand, this on the volley, and this, and I was thinking too much. And in pickle, I was like, look, I'm never going to be the best doubles player. I don't really have the hands. I'm just going to have fun and just fully engross myself in every doubles practice. I used to just care more about singles because I was a singles specialist, and that's how I thought I would always be. Yeah. So then when I played doubles, I would just have so much fun, and I would just be so engrossed in the game, not thinking a single thing, that then next thing you know, I'm like picking up on patterns. My hands are getting a lot faster. And Anna Lee actually said it to me. It was weird because Anna Lee said this to me a week ago. She was like, James, I remember like the first time we practiced, because she lives right near me. She's like, the first time we practiced, you had no hands. You couldn't even volley the ball. And then like 2 months later, you're like, and I was like, yeah, I don't know how it happened. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, that's crazy, man. Okay.
Well, actually, there is one thing that I did. So I used to not really have a great backhand punch in terms of power. And now some people
But you're talking about pickleball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and now some people would say maybe that's one of my better shots. I think it is, just the backhand counter.
Yeah.
And I can hit it really hard now.
Yeah.
I just did wrist workouts like 5 times a week. So
Really?
I used to
what's a wrist workout?
So here let's pretend this is a weight. Can the camera see it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I used to do, like, I would take a 10-pound weight.
Just like
and
this.
I would do this 1, 2
one.
to 10, and then this.
Slow though, right?
Yep, and then this one.
Oh, really?
And I would do it with a 10-pound weight, and then I did it so much for like a year. Now I can take like a 35 and just go like that.
No way.
And people at the gym look at me, they're like, "What's wrong with you, man?" It's literally a 35. So like, I've done it so much, my forearm and wrist strength
Really,
is
dude.
insane. So that is where
J-Dub must have like a 55 or something.
he must be something like that. Yeah.
Oh
Or he's doing
my
something.
goodness.
He's doing something else. Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
I got to start doing that though. That's
Totally.
good.
It's
Interesting.
a huge thing. I mean, wrist strength, forearm strength is huge in pickleball.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Jimmy. I'll call you Jimmy.
You can call only Briones can call me Jimmy.
Yeah, there you go. I'll call Jimmy Jim. Does anyone call you Jim? No, no one,
'cause
huh?
My dad is named Jim.
Oh.
He's James, but people call him Jim.
So you like technically the second?
No, because we have different middle names. And
Is that how it works? You have
is.
to have the same middle name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
And my dad is the same first and middle name as JW, James Walter. So he's JW Ignatowich. That's my dad.
Yeah, but JW's middle name is not Walter.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
JW is your dad,
Yeah.
technically.
Well, after this weekend. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about we take a little intermission and we just give a shout out to our sponsor. One of the things that that is similar between us, James, besides our duper score and our skills, is we're both sponsored by Selkirk.
Yes,
Right?
we are.
So Selkirk, thank you for all you do. What do you like about
I can
Selkirk?
speak on
man?
Selkirk.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Selkirk is huge for me because before I had any doubles results, they offered me a great deal and they believed in me early. And I've always been
just from that one tournament, or no?
This was back in August of 2022.
Okay.
So I wasn't even a top 25 doubles player, but they really hooked me up and they gave me the opportunity to have my own podcast, which is not as good as this one, obviously. But I mean, to have my own podcast, and they've always been so easy to work with. And of course, you might think I'm just saying that, but I think anybody that's worked with Selkirk or who has been sponsored by Selkirk would say like they're just the best guys, most genuine guys. Colin, Cooper, Rob, Mike, across the board, just great people.
Awesome, man. Well, Selkirk, thank you. Thanks for all you do. What are you swinging nowadays? Are you're Power Air Invicta, right?
Yes.
Okay. Were you swinging the you were swinging the 002 at some point?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah. So I was using the 002 from March of 2023 until November of 2023, and this was maybe one of the better things that's happened to me.
Yeah. So why the switch? I guess.
So it failed. The 002 started failing because all the paddles were failing. It wasn't the 002's fault, right? Nothing's Selkirk's fault. But the 002s were failing, and they failed at nationals. So
wow.
they failed at MLP first. So I had to switch because every single 002 that I had failed. I brought 8 of them. They all failed.
Wow.
So I had to go to Pickleball Central and then buy Power Airs. And I wanted to get the Catherine color ones, but they felt a little less gritty. So I got these pink and purple Power Airs. And
So you had to. You're saying you had to switch mid-tournament?
day before the tournament started.
Wow. Okay. So you had one day to practice, basically.
Yeah. And then I went undefeated in men's doubles with Jay and like went 2-1 in mixed. Like I played great. And then me and Tyler played great at nationals. And from there, my results have just been better. So it was a good move because with the 002, I mean, it's got so much power and it's such a great paddle. But I think the Power Air just gives me a little more control.
Yeah, it does have a tad bit more,
and I could use that.
Bigger sweet spot.
Yeah,
a little
for
bit.
sure.
Yeah, interesting, man. Okay. All right. Have you tried the Lux?
Yes. I tried the Lux.
Way too soft, huh?
It's really soft. I think it would be, you know what it might be? I think it might be a really good paddle for singles because you can swing out. You can
Really?
take big swings if you have the power for it.
Okay.
So like, you know, Chris Olsen, not a guy like that.
Yeah.
But like a guy like Jack Sock, for example, like he could be, I mean, I think that might be the best paddle for him because his arm is so live.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the Lux is great. It's a lot like the 003.
Okay. Yeah. No. So Jack Sock, obviously, that was actually on my list to talk about. What do you think about him coming in the game? And just really quickly, what do you think about his ceiling? How high do you think he's going to go?
So I've kind of gone back and forth on this with Jack. I've watched a lot.
Do you have a relationship with him?
Not really. I mean, we're cordial. I was sort of a fan of his tennis game. I was never really a huge watcher of tennis. But he was a guy who I did watch sometimes in tennis because he was cool to watch. He had he was a unique player. Yeah. His forehand was unbelievable, and it was just fun to watch him. So I remembered him from tennis, and it wasn't like I idolized him in tennis, but I was like, that's a cool guy. And then in pickleball, we have like a, you know, I'll say hi to him, cordial relationship, but no friendship really. But I think his game is, it's fun to watch. I think one of the things is I watch a lot of pickleball. And sometimes I'll have to force myself to watch a match just because I want to learn about it. Yeah. But with Jack, it's never like that. It's like, let's go. More Jack highlights. Like
really?
Jack.
So
it's fun to watch. His singles, his mixed, his men's. He's doing these like just crazy cobras. Like he
dude, is that the term?
Well,
dude, I've been seeing it in Mesa. I love it. It's like.
It was one of the funniest things ever. So he's playing against like this, and I sent this to a bunch of my friends. He's playing against like, so you got big like Jack Sock, right? And then he's playing against little like Sammy Lee, like this nice unassuming kid.
Oh yeah.
And then he goes,
dude,
like,
he's gotten good, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure he's good. Yeah. I haven't played him in a while. He goes Cobra, dink, and then Cobra again, like the highest Cobra you've ever seen, and then just full bag, right? It's Sammy.
I saw that. I saw it.
It's awesome. And I mean, you sort of got to feel bad for Sammy a little bit. It's no, but he's
dude, wait,
awesome.
Who called it that first? I've never. Is that a new term?
I think it was Dave Fleming who referred.
Was
to
it Dave Fleming? Okay, shout out to
Dave.
Big,
that's the first time I heard it.
Hilarious, dude.
But I think it's So I mean, I think as far as ceiling in men's, it's tough to say because I'm not really I'm not at my ceiling in men's, and I don't know really what it takes to beat Ben and Colin or JW and Dylan because I haven't done it.
Well, maybe if you had a backhand, you'd probably be number one by now, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But like, I think if he had a backhand, is that what you're saying? Yeah, he would be. I don't know. I'm glad he doesn't really love his backhand. Yeah. But yeah, I've got like one win over JW and Dylan. In men's, I haven't really done it at the top, so I'm not qualified to say really what I think of his men's ceiling. I think it takes so much patience in men's, and he might have the patience, he might not. It's tough. I don't know if I have the patience or the wherewithal to stand in those like super precise, intense dink rallies with a guy like Ben or JW. But I can say that I know how to be really good at mixed, and he's going to be really good.
Do you think you're a better mixed player?
No question. I think that. Well, I'm ranked number 2 in mixed, and yeah, I'm not going to say like a subjective, I'm better than this guy at mixed, or I'm not, but I'm ranked number 2, and I've got, you know, a lot of stats to show for it. I think medals wise over the calendar year, I've got the second most, or the, you know, I think there's
how many so you didn't, because Ben and Annalie pretty much won all year, like last year 2023, you have any PPA golds or no?
Yeah, so I got gold with Catherine in Minnesota in mixed.
Oh, you did?
And then I got gold, and these are just mixed golds. I got a singles gold at Minnesota, and then men's at TOC. And then I also got a gold in mixed with Anna at Red Rock.
Oh, at Red Rock. And where was Ben and Annalie?
So the 2 golds that I have, Ben and Annalie weren't there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, you know, does it really?
Yeah. Okay, but how many silvers did you have that year? Like a lot?
Bunch. I mean, I've already got 2 this year. Yeah, silvers, bronze. I mean, me and Anna are extremely consistent. Like since Kansas City, which was in August, we haven't done worse than the semis. We've either done semis, bronze, or silver. So, and that's a lot of tournaments since then.
Yeah, dude.
But I mean, that probably speaks more to Anna than me, right? Yeah. I got to say that because Anna's watching.
Anna.
But either way, this isn't about my mixed. I think Jack has what it takes to be He could be. I mean, it's tough. I think he could definitely be a consensus top 3. I would like to say that if everything, if we both keep improving, I think a guy like me or a guy like Jack might be improving at a faster rate than some of the guys who've been playing longer, like a JW, who's also in that conversation in top mixed. So maybe at the end of the year, it's like Ben, me, and Jack. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen, but I can tell you that Jack's ceiling is very high.
All right, we'll get the. Oh yeah, we'll see that. Partners, you're playing with Matt Wright, and is that for the whole year of 2024?
Yes.
Got it. How did that come about? And I'm trying to remember who you played with last year, because you had different. You might have had different partners, right? So how did the Matt Wright thing come up, and who did you play with last year?
Yeah, so I started last year with Tyson, and and it's funny, you think back on it. When I first started playing with Tyson, playing the left in men's in January of 2023 with Tyson, I had picked up a paddle like 14 months prior for the first time, and I was a 4-5 like 8 months prior to that. Wow. Dude. So I got thrown into the fire on the left in men's, and we didn't have a ton of success. And I think,
well, how did that even? I mean, so you just started. How does that work? Did Tyson text you, or you texted him? How did
I mean, I think we were kind of mutually going back and forth with each other. But at the end of 2022, I had shown some potential. I got bronze in men's doubles with Steve Deacon. I think I got a couple bronzes in mixed. So I was showing potential, but I was far from a finished product, and I couldn't get to the kitchen at all. And I would push the serve in like this. I still didn't really know what I was doing.
Dude, that's so funny, because so obviously we talked about coaching. I coach all the time, but I do remember now specifically in a podcast talking about your serve, specifically how, like, dude, James needs to hit this. He needs to freaking hit his serve in, because that was it. Before, you were just like
the tightest. I was
not even tight, just getting it in. I'm just saying, like, no power is what I'm saying. But now you whack it, dude.
Yeah, I know. I got some cojones. Yeah. It's so I had I would push the serve in. It's funny. You could actually, if anybody wants a good laugh, you can go back to like 2023 in the beginning, and I was hitting the serve softer than anyone. Like, it was comical.
Maybe even softer than Tyler Leung. I'm not sure. No.
Probably not. No. Maybe. But yeah, so it was me and Tyson in the beginning of the year, and we didn't have a ton of success. We lost in the quarters a bunch. Like, it wasn't bad, but I just wasn't ready, and we were losing mostly because I just wasn't playing as good as I needed to be. Wow. And then we switched, and we put me on the right, and we put Tyson on the left, and I actually felt good on the right, and I was countering. I played well. We had like 4 straight medals. We got gold at TOC. Everything was going great. And I think, for me, the truth is that I dropped Tyson. And, I already caught some flack for that. It was not something I'm super proud of, because Tyson has been so cool about it. And,
dropped him like what? Like instantly or something?
No,
or
like he had noticed, and we kind of worked it out. It was sort of like we mutually worked it out in like the middle of the year.
So, I mean, it wasn't like other players who have just, it
wasn't that bad. I didn't do it like that, but still, I think it was tough for me to do, but I needed to have some variance in the sides that I was playing at that stage of my career, because I still thought that I would, by that time, I was like, okay, I could end up being, a top 5 player, top 3 player, and if I'm just playing the right every tournament in men's, it's tough to get better. You want those reps on the left, and in the beginning of the year, I wasn't ready for it, but by July, I felt like I was.
So you've just, your game just grew exponentially during that time.
Yeah, and if you want to get better at men's doubles, you got to be doing it from both sides, different looks, different partners. I think getting those, just having different looks is huge for your improvement. You can't do the same thing every time.
So right after Tyson, you guys mutually split. Was Matt next?
Yeah, it was. I had a mix for the rest of the year. It was Matt, Tyler. I don't know. Okay. Matt and Tyler. If there's anybody else, I'm sorry that I'm forgetting, because that'd be pretty sad.
No worries, Matt.
Oh, Rafa Hewitt. Oh, that'd be bad. Rafa would have killed me for that.
Rafa.
Yeah.
All right. So 2024, and you guys, I think you and Matt are playing well. I know this. And by the way, this is Championship Sunday, just coming out of the PPA Mesa, and we'll get into that. But so far, what do you think? Grade yourself. letter grades, you and Matt, so far this year. What would you say, and where could you and Matt improve? What do you think?
Yeah, so me and Matt have played 5 tournaments now, and we have made it to the semis 3 times and lost in the quarters 2 times. So I think it's decent. Like, I think we want to do better, but these men's doubles draws are tough. You have great teams. And to have made the semis 3 times, like right off the bat like this, it's not like we're blowing it up and doing amazing. But it comes down to me. I think I've just got to be better because Matt he's played well. He's been solid. He's countered well. And I think ultimately I would give myself like a B in men's. I think in mixed, I'd give myself like an A minus or maybe even close to an A. I've played very well in mixed overall.
Why do you think you're better in mixed? What skills do you think goes into that? Because obviously, right, there are players that are way better in mixed, and it usually ends up being more of the stronger singles players that usually better in mixed, but it doesn't always correlate like that. So what makes you better at mixed, you think?
Well, I think it's because I'm newer. Men's doubles takes time, and at the highest level, you need a lot of reps. You need tournament reps against these really good teams. And I've only really been playing high-level men's doubles in these tournaments for like a year or less.
Wow.
And you need time to refine the soft stuff under pressure, the thirds, the fifths. Like, this stuff is precise, and it's not easy. And men's doubles is, I think, the farthest from tennis than, okay, so probably men's singles is the closest.
Yep.
And then mixed, and then men's doubles.
Because you're saying men's has way more dinks.
And men's doubles isn't really that close to tennis. Like, it's closer to ping pong or something. I don't even know what it is, but there's a lot of dinking and there's strategy, and I don't even still get a lot of it. I mean, men's doubles is a tough game. Mixed is an easy game. Mixed is very simple. Even I can understand mixed.
Really? So you explain it. That's really interesting because obviously we're talking about top 5 player here, or top 10 at least in men's, and you're saying it's
in mixed top 3.
Yeah, I know. So what's easy about mixed then?
What's hard about it? You just serve it.
What's hard about it? Hey, we're most of these players are like 3-5-4-0s. We're talking about.
So if we're talking it's funny because you don't want to give people the wrong advice because in rec it's different. Like, you don't want to take every ball from your partner in rec. You don't want to be that guy. So I'm not advising the local players to just go out there and just demolish your opponent. But in the pro game, pro mixed is very simple for me. I serve the ball almost as hard as I can. I rip a drive at the girl, and then I follow it in. And then if I get a look at the kitchen line, I'm going to pull the trigger. And that's it. So there's not a lot of thinking. There's not a lot of soft stuff for me. And it's just very natural for me. So hopefully I think men's, maybe as this year progresses, I'll get more comfortable playing men's. But I've got more high-level reps also in mixed because I was better at it earlier. So I've played a lot of – I had a gold last year in mixed. At this time last year, I was getting a gold with Catherine in mixed. So I've been good at mixed for a while. In men's, a year ago, I wasn't that good at men's. So I'm still, my men's game still needs time.
Wow, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's it like playing with Anna?
It's good. She listens to what I say.
Yeah, but playing with somebody who you're also in a relationship with, what is that like? Any challenges there?
Not really. I think that it is. It can be, but I mean, Anna and I, we just have been so successful on the court that it makes it a lot easier. Like, if we were losing in the first round or the second round a lot, like, it could be a problem. There might be some issues at home.
Right? Would you guys? I mean, do you think you guys, let's say chemistry, not in a relationship, but on the court was different or something? Would you guys? You think you just not play with each other and get other partners?
I think we would probably still play with each other because when we play against each other, it's just such a spectacle and everybody wants to see. Because the last 2 times we played against each other, I did win both of those. I'd like to say I have the mental edge over Anna, because I might. But anyway, the last time was Minnesota, and that was a spectacle because I made it one. That was my fault. The whole Big Papa Jimmy thing and everybody. I mean, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah, that was insane. That was too much. I look back at that and I'm like, wow.
Is that you today?
What do you mean?
Like that kind of the whole Papa Jimmy thing, or do you think
that was nobody? That was just a guy who had just had the best win of his life, and I was like, I was euphoric.
Oh, so you're saying that was just all.
That was hype. That was adrenaline.
Okay.
And that was just like,
Okay.
let's go. I made it. I'm on the scene.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that was one of the best. It's funny because like it's a little embarrassing now. I walk around, people are like, "Oh, Big Papa Jimmy," and I'm kind of tired of it. Like, or even sometimes it'll be like a 50-year-old man that'll just be like, "Oh, that's Big Daddy." I've got like older men calling me Daddy. It's a little weird. And if I could have erased it from the past, I would have.
Wow.
But there's no denying that day was one of the best moments of my life.
Yeah, and you're talking about your first PPA gold mix. Was that?
Yeah, well, that was the semis.
Oh, the semis.
Yeah, the final we knew we were gonna win pretty much. We had
you and Catherine.
Me and Catherine. Yeah, I had Catherine on my team. I was very confident. But in the semis, that was the tough one against Anna and Riley.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. So, with your partnership with Matt Wright, is that like how does it work? Is it throughout the 2024 all the way, and then you'll see, like, you got to kind of start figuring out, and this is just a good question for all pros, right? Like, you got to kind of start figuring out your next move, like when or what part of the season, like how does that work, right? Because everyone does it differently. Right?
Well, I think it kind of depends on where you are in the rankings, because I think that the most valued players, if you're a top 3 guy, like let's say if Ben wanted to drop Colin right now, anybody would play with him. And I think to a lesser extent that occurs as you go down. So the whole planning of the next year stuff for a lot of players, I don't really know how it works, but I would imagine that, the whole moral argument of dropping or not dropping because of, holier than thou, like ethical decision making, I would imagine that that's going to be on the decline, because as the money goes up,
the moral goes down.
The moral goes down, and that's just how life works. That's how humans are. So, and I can't blame them. It's a job, and everybody's playing for keeps. That's the other thing about pickleball is they talk about like being friendly with other people off the court, and I'm somebody who's super insulated. I changed my number like a couple months ago because of some crazy stuff, and now there's only like probably 15 pros who I can even communicate with. Like nobody even has my number. I don't run.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like I don't run my own Instagram really or Facebook or Twitter. I don't have any of that. I'm super insulated. I just kind of talk to my close family and friends. And at the tournaments, like I'm kind of known for this. Like I'll just kind of like hide in the corner. Like I don't really go in the players' lounge.
Who's your closest friends on tour?
Outside of Anna?
Outside Anna. Yeah, definitely outside Anna.
No, I mean, I guess, I've got people that I'm cordial with, like, or maybe like a Greg Dow, maybe.
Okay.
We don't hang out. Like he lives in South Carolina.
But you said so you live in Florida, but you say you frequently, or maybe, I mean, not super frequently, but you live around J-Dub.
Yeah.
Anna Lee.
Yeah.
And you said, Andre's out there and Tardio. So you get some practice games with them.
Totally.
How often does that happen?
Pretty often, probably twice a week.
Okay, so you see those guys a lot.
Yeah.
You guys never go out? Are you guys?
No.
Really?
I think they might go out with each other. Maybe J-Dub and Dylan will go to the library or whatever those nerds do. I don't know what J-Dub and Dylan do in their free time. No, I don't really. I think that's something I've been super cognizant of, because in tennis I was too buddy with my opponents sometimes, and I think it held me back to a certain extent. So in pickleball, like at these tournaments, other pro, and I don't do it because I don't like the other pros. Like there's no animosity. I'm nice. Yeah. When you see me, I'm nice.
Yeah.
But at the tournaments, I'm known to just kind of like hide in the corner, or like hide. Like at this last one, there was the players' lounge. Then there was like this upstairs area. I'm just like hiding up there because I'm super like, I'm really like introverted when I compete. I just keep everything.
Or just maybe just trying to stay focused, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And other people focus different ways. Like Anna likes to talk to people. A lot of people like to talk to people. Jessie Irvin was talking all tournament to anyone she sees. She won't. But me, I'm the exact opposite. I'm not talking to anybody until it's over.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So tennis to pickleball. Obviously, you're one of the converts. Your story is actually really interesting because of the whole not volley. To top 5 volleys, but what makes it? I just had Andre and actually Tardy on the podcast.
Nice.
Earlier, but what makes it? Why isn't it so easy? why is pickleball not that easy to a certain extent? Obviously, for tennis players, it's easy to pick up, but when we talk about the pro level, like what makes it harder than people think?
Yeah, I think that it's not. So what people don't understand about pickleball is it's not as much of a direct correlation with how good you were at tennis to how good you'll become at pickleball. Sam Querrey's a great guy, and look, he's a great guy. We had like a little funny fake beef. The guy is impossible to hate, and if I ever had like a beef with him, I would lose because he's more likable than me. So I can't have a beef because everybody's like, oh, we love Sam Querrey. James is all right. So I'm not trying to take shots at Sam Querrey, but the guy in tennis would have destroyed me. Of course he would have destroyed me. He was an unbelievable tennis player. But I think that in terms of pickleball talent, I think I'm just better suited for pickleball than he is. And that's just, I think, my opinion. And it's just different. They're just different sports. So if you take the number 10 tennis player in the world, you can be sure that there'll be a high 5-0 at the very least.
Yes.
Like you can be sure that if you take a top 10 tennis player and make him train for pickleball for a year and a half, they're going to be at least top 40. I think top 40 you can bet on that if they work hard.
Yeah.
But
well, that's right. I mean, I guess you could kind of say it would be a good one, right? Like all hypothetical, right? The three goats, right? We got obviously Djokovic, Federer, Nadal. Like we would all take a poll. Who would be the best pickleball player of all? And it would be tough, right? I mean, a lot of people would say Federer because of touch, but like maybe not. Maybe even Nadal would surprise people.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
You don't know. It's impossible to know. So I think at a certain point, there is a differentiator between tennis talent and pickleball talent because they are different sports. So you just can't take a top 10 guy and assume that they're going to be that great. You'll assume they'll be good. Yeah. But to be top 10 is different. Like a guy like JW or Riley or Tyson, they weren't good at tennis. And they're
relatively speaking, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, they weren't great tennis players. But then you can clearly see they're talented pickleball players. Like a guy like JW, you take a guy like Noah Rubin. Noah Rubin, if he played JW in tennis, would have beat JW 6-0, 6-0. Would have made JW look silly. But even if Noah Rubin trained for pickleball as much as JW, I think JW is just more talented for pickleball because pickleball requires a different skill set, hand speed, forearm strength, right? Like how important is your reaction time in tennis? You don't need it. It's a big deal. Yeah.
So what are the top three you would say? We're talking about, again, high level tennis or other sports, but what are the top three skills then do you think is needed at the pro level?
Top three skills at the pro level?
Yeah.
I think they're different in men's and women's. I think in men's, just the soft stuff, having that locked down. So just having, being able to make 50 dinks in a row if you need to. That, and then hand speed and countering power.
Okay.
I've got to think those are the three. I could be missing one. I actually haven't been asked that before.
All right. So you said women's is different. So what would women's be? So what you said men's to go over. You said dinks. So just solid dinks, countering, and hand speed. So what is it for women's then?
Well, I think in order of importance, I think that it's a little bit reversed in women's because in women's, power and hand speed is more important. Touch isn't as important in women's because the margins are bigger, because people are leaning in less because they're smaller people. So in men's, you've got a guy that's 6'3", leaning into the kitchen. You have to hit a really good drop and a really good dink. And in men's, out of the air attacks are way more potent. So you have to be precise. And I would know. I popped up a bunch of dinks yesterday, and I'm sorry to Matt for it. But in women's, you can hit some more deep dinks. You can be creative, and you can make a dink bounce a couple inches past the kitchen line, and you're okay.
Well, part of it, again, I know we both coach quite a bit, but part of it, the women stay back off the line more. Why do you think that is? Because this is a question that I get asked a lot between men's and women's, and then obviously when I'm teaching, there's a whole bunch of talk about strategy-wise. But why do you think the women tend to, I'll call it, not drift off the line, but tend to play off the line a little bit?
Yeah, I think that if you're off the line, you have more time to attack off the bounce. And in women's, attacks off the bounce are probably more potent and more used than attacks out of the air. There's not a lot of women that are super comfortable with a backhand flick. I was just watching Georgia Johnson and Mary Humberg play, and they have it, but it's not
But
just
it's
not as
because
easy.
a lot of them aren't doing one-handers too, right? That's
Yeah,
like
well,
the
it's a
main.
mix. It's two things. They might not have the wrist strength that men do naturally. I'm sure they don't, and they also don't have the reach. If you're 5'5", if you're smaller, it's just
Yeah.
tougher. So they say, okay, I'll cut my losses. I'll hang a couple feet back, and then if I get a good look off the bounce, I'll pull it.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, you look at Anna Lee. Anna Lee's not attacking out of the air. She's,
Well, that's something that she's adding in her game now. That's
yeah,
one of the things she's
yeah,
working
but
on.
it's not her.
Yeah, of
bread
course.
and butter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Interesting. Okay. Let's see this. So, Jimmy, Papa Jim, what have you personally worked on? So let's say, because I'm always improving my game and also trying to improve my coaching all the time. I study film a lot, actually. I study you guys. I study the pros. What in your game in the past 6 months have you been working on in your own personal game? Give me 3 items or 3 different categories.
Yeah. So the first thing is the transition zone, and that is super important, especially in men's, because you've got to play soft. In mixed, you can get through the first couple of rounds without hitting a drop. You can just drive. At least for me, that's how I felt. But in men's, you've got to have the soft stuff. So I've been working a ton on it. And it's gotten better. It used to be really bad. Now
Just like resetting and just
Yeah.
digging out just defense.
So there's 2 different drills that I do. Drill number 1 is just I'll have a guy hit fourths, and I just hit resets maybe 3 feet inside the baseline, and I'll move around, like I'll go foot inside, and then I'll just kind of work my way around and just reset it in. Pretty simple. And then the other one is a little more of an intense version of that, which is they start with an overhead,
Yes.
and I have to work my way in.
Yeah.
So those 2 things are kind of intertwined. They're both like transition, it's defense, and I'm doing that for like just 30 minutes a day. I don't want to do it too much. I feel like if you do one drill more than 30 minutes a day, maybe you build some bad habits. You get a little lazy. So that's what I do for transition.
All right. So transition. What are 2 other things that you're either whether it's a drill like that or actual shot that you're working on?
Yeah. So the other one is my return. I never really put a lot of emphasis in my return. And I think that if you have the ability to keep your opponent back at a high level, which is one of the better parts of my game, I'm a big guy and I've got a live arm. I can keep people back well.
Yeah.
And you want to hit good returns, because if I hit a really hard, deep return and then I sprint right up there and I'm ready to flick the fourth, it's a huge advantage. So you're not using your height or your power well if you're just pushing your return in and just inviting people to come in.
And obviously that's very general, right? We all know even lower levels, deep return. But what is some nuances on that? Like on the return, because everyone knows that, right? So, but why don't you give a little insight there on why a pro is actually practicing deeper returns? Because all pros return deep, right? So,
yeah, and even putting how I practice it is there's a couple different things. So if I'm practicing with a guy who doesn't really have the ability to put a ton of power on his serve, I'll have him stand 3 feet inside the baseline and then rip the serve at me. And if I can handle a guy who's standing close and ripping the serve at me and then return it, makes it way easier for me. And I've got to be mindful of, if the serve is coming harder at me, my legs, my base needs to be wider, because a serve is coming from baseline to baseline. Yeah. It's the farthest distance that a ball can be traveling on the court. So you can be sure that bounce is going to be low, because it's a very linear. I mean, Tyson puts some height on his serve. Yeah. Some people put height. Most people, if they do hit it hard, they really don't put a lot of height. Mine's very linear. Deckel's is very linear. Yeah. That lends itself to very low bounces. So I make a wide base, so I'm very balanced. And it's important because when you hit returns, you run through them. It's the only shot in pickleball that you run through.
Yeah.
So balance becomes essentially important. So a wide base is very necessary.
Yeah.
And I do that. I'm mindful of a wide base, and I'm mindful of a short swing. So I'm getting my power from my body weight moving forward. I'm not taking any big swings. I'm just pushing everything forward. And I'm not slicing my returns. That's the last thing. I think that if you're playing somebody with a good drive, a good topspin drive, it's dangerous.
When you first started, when did you switch to 2 hands in pickleball? Were you ever right away? And was that because of Riley or someone you saw, or was this not natural? Just one? Because obviously, as a coach, I teach both, right? I teach slice 1 hand, I teach topspin 2 hands, I teach everything. But why did you go directly to 2 hands on dinks and everything?
Well, I actually have an extensive ping pong background. I used to play ping pong like every day at my house. My dad was really serious into ping pong, and I played a ton of ping pong. That actually might be a little bit of reason why I'm good at pickle. But I always used a 2-handed backhand in ping pong. So then
Really?
I just would put a two-handed backhand on my pickleball paddle right away, and it just felt way more comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable with one hand at all, and I never sliced in tennis. I had no slice in tennis.
Oh, okay.
Or backhand volley with one. I would even sometimes hit like a two-handed swing volley in tennis.
Okay, so
My volleys were a mess.
That's where that comes from. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's something. Okay, let's get to last. So transition. You said returns, and what would the third be?
Serves, just banging the serve. It can always get better. I think this past tournament is the best I've ever served. I didn't miss a lot.
I gotta go watch the matches. I go back. Okay.
Yeah, just ripping the serve every time, because it takes it takes a lot of reps, because it takes some cojones to rip the serve, because you only get one.
Yeah.
And I would know. I used to push them in, and I rip every single serve now, and I think that takes practice. I go out there and, I mean, nothing crazy. Maybe 3 times a week, I'll serve for 30 minutes, and I'll hit every serve almost as hard as I can.
Really?
Yeah, wow. I mean, I'm hitting the serve almost as hard as I can.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's see here. Drilling and training. What is your normal, like, how many, like, what are your training sessions like, and how often?
Well, it depends on where I am. If I'm at home, then I'll usually drill. It's hard to really put it in terms of daily, but I would say weekly I'll drill maybe 4 times a week, and I'll play men's games like 4 times a week, 3 times a week. Yeah. So it's almost 50-50, maybe a little more drilling. So then that means, if that's 8 on a 7-day week, that means one day I'm playing twice. But really, I'm not playing more than 2 hours a day. I think anything more than that is a recipe for bad habits for me at this stage. Like a year and a half ago, when I was just trying to get the feel for the ball, I was playing 8 hours a day every day.
Yeah.
Right now, I've hit a lot of balls. It's just good habits, dial everything in.
Yeah, that's what Riley does when I had him on the podcast. As he said, he does usually go over 2 hours. Your normal drilling partner, is it Anna, or is it someone else, or who do you drill with?
Me and Anna don't practice together. We do, and it's funny, I actually usually only just practice men's. I don't really practice mixed. It's we try to have some sort of separation with the pickleball, because we're always with each other at the pickleball tournaments. We want to try to have some degree of separation in that sense.
So she hits and plays with ladies or someone else, and then you play with the guys.
Yeah, and that's the best part of being where we live. There's so many great players that we have that opportunity. So my regular drilling partners are Ryan Fu and Max Freeman. And Ryan Fu is, you guys are going to hear about him, because he is just an absolute beast. He's only been playing for 5 months.
Wow.
And he was way better than me at tennis. And he played at Michigan. Michigan was a top 5 tennis team. And he's been a friend of mine since I was like 12 years old.
And how, older or same age?
Same age. We've been super close for such a long time.
So this up and comer then.
Yeah, he's got insane hands. He's got, I don't want to say he has faster hands than me, but he might. And he's just he's only been playing for 5 months, and he's already made it through 2 pro qualifying draws at PPAs. And I think he had match points in his last first round at the PPA in men's doubles already. And he's better at mixed. So if he's not top 20 at the end of the year, I think I'm going to just send him back home.
Note that. Wait, what is his name again?
Ryan Fu. Ryan F-U.
Fu. Is he, what is it, Asian?
Yeah, he's half Asian.
What is he?
Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just like Anna.
Okay.
And his mom won the NCAA individual title in tennis. His mom was like an amazing tennis player.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have to see that. Let's see here. How much, you said you watch a lot of pickleball. Is that to mainly study the game? What do you watch it for fun?
It's a mix of both. I think.
Or strategy.
There's certain people that I like to watch for fun.
So who? Name 2.
Yeah, I can name a bunch. I mean, so like a guy like Jack is very fun to watch. I like to watch Colin Johns, just because he is so different from me in every way, and he makes me laugh when he gets mad at the net cords, and he's just such a character, man. I love Colin Johns. I like to watch JW. I like to watch Riley. Who else is fun? Catherine.
It's so funny, because I think most pros that I've asked and talked to, they don't watch a ton of pickleball for fun. Is that true?
I'm still new though. I might get tired of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm still new enough to where it's like kind of fun. Like in a year, I might be back here and just being like, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah.
I like to watch Federico play singles, and I like to watch Jaume Martí. It's funny, I don't even play singles.
Jaume, dude.
Yeah, I don't play singles, and I'm not learning anything from it, but I've been watching a lot of singles lately. Like I watched Jack and Tyson play, and that was awesome. I watched every time Federico and Jaume play singles. men's singles has come so far, and
Yeah.
it went from when I came in kind of fun to watch. Now it's legit. It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of men's doubles. Men's doubles can get pretty boring.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one shot in particular that you're working on today? Because you've I remember you used to go everything too, and you've developed the one-handed punch and actually roll volleys too. But is there anything besides that you're working on like today?
Yeah, so two things. I'm working on the full bag backhand speed up off the bounce. So
What do you mean full bag?
just trying to hit the person as hard as I can.
Oh, we're going full bag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's a totally fair play, and
Wow.
I think it's
I haven't heard that one, man.
yeah. So actually, you can go check in the semifinals. Me and Matt just played against Dylan and JW, and I hit Dylan as hard as I could, and it was like right in the chest.
Did he? What? He wasn't ready here. What did he do?
I mean, it's tough to get out of the way of. I just hit it as hard as I possibly could.
Oh my god.
And I think that's like it's a privilege afforded to me and like maybe 10 other guys who can really hit the ball really, really hard. And I do have a lot of natural power, and I think I'm going to use it. And it's a fair play, and it's fun.
Okay, so that's actual shot you're actually working on.
Yeah. I'll just bring my friend out there and just hit him a bunch of times.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what's another one?
I'm actually joking about that. I mean, he'll have like a cup on and shades, and he likes it. He's got some issues.
Okay.
But another shot that I'm working on is the backhand out of the air attack from the kitchen. So like the backhand flick.
One hand.
Yeah, I have the ability to flick pretty well, but I'm not that good at picking spots. I can hit it hard, but I can't. Like JW is unbelievable at picking spots. He's got it on a string, and I don't have that. I don't have that at all.
Wow. That's cool, man. That's good. All right. Let's talk a little bit about I don't know. Maybe this is interesting. Obviously, Anna Lee and Ben Johns have been at the top for a long time. You've played against them both lots of times now. What do you think? We'll start with Ben. What do you think? Kind of what's special about him? What separates him, and how? Let's just start there.
Yeah. So Ben is, I think, what separates him, and people say that it's, there's a ton of things. I mean, the guy's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think that, they say that the Johns brothers, their biggest strength is they're so disciplined and they're never going to make a mistake. And I think that that's actually right. I thought it was something deeper than that. And of course, they're talented. Like, it's not like Ben and Colin are just, not talented and anybody can just do it. Like, no, you watch, especially, and they both are. They are truly talented players. Like, people think Colin's not talented. I watch Colin hit resets and I'm blown away. Especially for a guy like me, I don't have the talent for the resets. I've had to hit a ton of resets and I'm still not that great at it. It's just not natural for me. And I watch a guy like Colin do it, and it's just, that's talent. You can't teach that. I'm telling you. I mean, I hope I can get there with enough reps. If I'm resetting like Colin Johns in 2 years, I'll be the happiest man ever. So maybe, but I don't know. Ben, we don't even need to talk about how talented that guy is. So there's,
if you were to pick like one thing about Ben, an attribute of a game, not a shot.
Tough.
Okay.
I don't even, to pick one thing. I mean, I would almost just say he's just that talented. Like it's his, like even if Ben was mentally not that strong, I think he would still be the best. I mean, the guy's just that good.
Yeah.
So it's hard, like to pick one thing, it's impossible. I think there's 5 different things that he's the best at. But the truth is, he's just the best at the game. Like, it's not some mental genius stuff. I mean, you play against him, you're like, wow, the guy's feel is out of this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We might have to cut this out. I'm being a little too nice to Ben.
Yeah, you don't have to, man.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
What about AL?
So, talk about a talent. I mean, that's even more. I mean, she's insane. Anna Lee is actually, one thing about her that separates her is, like Ben, she's also a really good competitor, and she fights hard and she brings a lot of energy. And she didn't play competitive tennis really.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
And she's just she fights very hard. She's mentally very solid. She's got a ton of power, and she just does everything well. And her defense is underrated, and she's a great mover. Yeah, I mean, you can't really think. I don't think there's any weakness in her game.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and Ben are a tough team to play. I'll tell you that much. It's you mix them, that's when it gets really tough.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So analyzing your game, Jimmy, what are the weaknesses in your game right now that you're working on strengthening? One of them, I guess, would be resets.
Yeah.
So what else, or what's another one?
Well, I think that a big part of why Ben's and Annalise feel is so good is they've been playing for 8 years or more, right?
Yeah.
So that's a long time.
Yeah.
And that's a lot longer than 2. So I think
Yeah.
that what really changes year by year by year is not only like the competitive stuff and the strategical stuff, but the feel for the ball. If you look at the legacy players, the guys that have been playing for like 6-7 years, they're all good in transition. They all have really soft hands. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think it's just repetition. You get better at something with repetition. And there is no shot like a reset in tennis. It's a shot that you have to learn on your own. There's no equivalent to a reset
Yeah.
in tennis. So for me, it's the soft stuff and just continuing to play. And just, I think what my game might look like in 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago I was a 4-5. So 2 years from now, I'd like to think that my defense and my resets and my dinking will be very, very dialed in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Well, I would say it's pretty dialed in now, bro. So
it's all right. It can get there. I think maybe, my hands can get even a little better, but that's what's gotten me this far. I think what needs to get better is the soft stuff. With the dinking, I mean, my backhand cross-court dink is good.
Yeah.
But the transition needs to get better.
Yeah. So you pretty much roll every ball on your backhand right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even off the back foot, like what do? You never just lift, or is it you know what I mean? Or do you ever not come up on the ball?
Sometimes I'll lift it with 2 if I'm kind of caught in an awkward position, and I'll
Like just like that.
Yeah, like Riley or Connor Garnett does that sometimes.
And you never go one hand if it's outstretched. You're never out.
I do that sometimes.
Oh, you
sometimes,
do?
But rarely, because I'm always moving my feet so much that I'm almost never stretched. I'm just going to get there with my feet.
Yeah.
Which I think is an advantage. It takes a lot of effort, but
yeah, dude. I was gonna say your style of dinking.
It takes a lot of effort, man.
You definitely probably cover the court and move your feet. I would have to watch more, but I would say you actually may move more than Riley even a little bit, because of your. And by the way, when we talk about technique, because I'm big on technique, but your backhand dink. And when I compare it to like someone like Riley's, which is both 2 hands, and Connor's, a little bit different style when it comes to the way you contact it and the way you brush up on the ball. So I find that really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, well, Riley's is fundamentally different because his grip is wrong. I mean, it's just the guy's confused. I tried that grip; it's wrong. Just kidding. Clearly, he's made it work. He's an unbelievable player. But no, that grip it's just a different type of backhand dink. It's hard to explain. It's more of like a shovel. But Connor's, so for him, I would imagine, since I've actually experimented with it, it's easier to speed up down the line because his left hand is in that directly straight on manner. So you see he does have a really good backhand down the line speed up. And he can put it either way.
Yeah.
But it's different because he's not able to really get outside of the ball on a backhand dink. Like for me,
I mean, you come up on this like really extreme on the side of the ball almost every time.
Yeah, and I think it's an advantage. I mean, I'm not going to say my backhand dink is better than Riley's or Connor's. I just think that they're different, and mine has a side spin, so that as long as I don't ATP or give up an ATP, I'll be good, because when it bounces, it runs away from you because it's going that way, which I think has messed with some people. I think it's just unique, so there's always an advantage in that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. All right, so last thing here, Jamie, let's build a perfect pickleball player here.
Okay, good question. I like that.
All right, let's build it up, and you could include yourself, but
I will.
Or you could not. All right, men's and women's, you can think of different attributes, but we're building the perfect pickleball player here. Perfect as in kind of like those video games, like building something. So forehand drive, who would you pick?
Jack Sock.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Backhand drive, which would probably be 2 hands.
Connor Garnett.
Dude, I played with him last week.
Yeah.
It's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty, dude.
It's crazy because there's not a lot of guys that are newer than me, and Connor's newer than me.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
No. Oh, I didn't know that. He's under under you, like under 2 years then?
Well, yeah, I think he's newer than me. Yeah, I don't know if he's under 2 years exactly. I know that his
Dude.
ascent in the pro game has been after mine, and just watching him turn into such a complete player has been super cool because he is good at all three events, and he has been very impressive to me. I'm a big Connor Garnett fan.
Okay. All right, and let's go with just go with drops in general.
Ben Johns.
Ben Johns,
Yeah,
just
they're
solid.
just unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay. Resets.
Colin Johns.
ATPs.
Which side? Forehand ATP?
Sure. We'll get really specific.
Well,
here.
if we go forehand ATP, it's probably Federico Staksrud. People don't know
he hit
that.
a good one. He hit a good one in singles that I just watched.
Quick segue. People don't realize. So Fed only plays the left now, so nobody sees his backhand ATP. But the last time he played the right was with me, because me and Federico played 5 tournaments together like a year and a half ago. And the guy's forehand ATP was money in the bank. So I think it's because he kind of comes around. Actually, no. You know who's got the best forehand ATP is Johnny Goldberg.
Okay.
Have you seen Johnny Goldberg hit a
No,
forehand ATP?
I haven't.
He curves it around the net because he's
So he's doing one of these.
because he's just a weird player in general.
Yeah.
And that's it kind of, I don't know, but it's unbelievable.
All right. Backhand ATP. Oh, I know who I'll give it to.
Connor Garnett.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Connor Garnett.
Dude, I literally played a couple games with him, and he literally like hit like probably like 9 in like 2 games.
Yeah, he ATP'd my backhand like 4 times at Nationals.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Overheads.
Thomas Wilson.
Really?
Yeah.
Thomas Wilson.
But there's a bunch of guys that just end it right away.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but I think Thomas is the coolest looking one. Like, it just looks like it's just such a, smooth motion.
Yeah. Counters.
I think I'm in that conversation, but
Okay, I like that.
I think I would say there's a couple guys. It's tough because players counter certain players better than others. Like I might have a better read on one guy's attacks. For example, I think my 2-handed wide backhand counter is the best, and that's not a radical statement. I think that's consensus.
So wide as in out, like anything out
outstretched,
here.
anything out here.
Okay.
So if somebody's favorite speed up is a forehand
Got
down
it.
line speed up, then I counter them better.
Okay, so we'll start right here, and then what about counter?
Yeah,
Counter here?
I got you. So
about-
I would say wide backhand is me.
Okay.
I think at the chest, I might be in that conversation too, but I'd probably give it to either JW or
What about Frazier?
Frazier's in that conversation too.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guys. JW, Frazier. I mean, you can't leave Ben out of that conversation. I think his might not come off as hot as JW's, Frazier's, or mine.
Wait, what about your partner? Hold on.
He's next. You
I
gotta let me
was
finish.
gonna say. Well, okay.
You gotta let me finish.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He's already on 7th on the list here. We've already.
No, I mean it's just a conversation.
Okay.
Matt is definitely on the
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
I mean, Matt, it's tough. I think Matt's in that conversation too. Even Eric Lang,
Yeah.
his backhand punches is tough. And
Okay. All right.
Greg Dow,
Okay. What about so we talked about here
forehand
left
counter.
Yep, left wing. Oh wait, no, backhand. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Talked about body. What about forehand?
Forehand is, I think the top 3 in no particular order are Riley, JW, and Ben.
Riley, JW, and Ben.
And Dylan's really good there too. And I'm getting better there, but I have some room to improve there.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Just strategically, really quick tip. How do you cover all 3 spots? Like, have you changed your paddle position over time? Because obviously, tennis, we're taught like that. Obviously, there's like a 10 o'clock position here. You're 2-handed backhand, right? So you use a lot of where's your paddle position at generally? Like, first of all, how high, and then is it angled off? It might change. It might change in different positions.
This is a really good question. So it depends on which side you're on. So if you're on the right, if I'm on the right, I will be a little bit more angled towards a backhand because all the action is going to the left side of me. And the chances I hit a forehand if the ball's in the middle are pretty low.
Because you're saying you could slide or do something like that.
Yeah. So I'm always looking to hit backhands when I'm on the right. And the best right side players are always looking at backhands, Colin, Dylan, Matt. When I'm on the left, I'm pretty much even, and I'm right here at my chest. And I've had people ask me the question of, well, James, you love your two-handed backhand counter. Why don't you start with two hands here? And then maybe if it's at your chest, switch to one. That's not the right way to do it. You start with one at the chest, and then if it goes to your left down the line, you have time to put two on it. And the reason that you have time to switch to two is because a speed up from your outside foot to my outside foot, forehand down the line speed up, can't be hit that hard. The net's 36 inches on the side, 34 in the middle, highest part of the net, and it's the smallest amount of court. You're going down the line. So you can't burn me there with a ton of speed. So I can sit at my body because that's the one you can hit hard.
I like that. So or on your forehand wing, you can hit hard. Obviously, you have more real estate there.
Yeah. So because you can go across my body. There's more court, lower net. So I sit body always, and then I'm ready to switch to two.
Interesting.
So that's
Why do you think it's faster? Do you think it's faster or slower in that same situation? So I'm on the left. I'm on the left. You're in front of me. You're speeding up down the line. Do you think it's actually faster or the same for me to just counter with one or go two? Because you sit here.
Well,
right?
The difference in speed of countering with one versus countering with two, maybe it does take you 1 extra tenth of a second to put that left hand on, if that's what you're asking. It could take a little more time to put two hands on it, but it's worth it. Because if you go all the way out here with one, you're not going to hit a hard counter. It's almost impossible. This is easy. This is meh. And then this is good luck.
I'll have to do experiment, but we've seen Ben Johns start to work on that, but it might be faster, and maybe you could help me think this through. But going like this because of the drag, or just going here and just actually having your left hand kind of catch it and accelerate, it might be faster. I don't know. What's your thoughts?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. That could be the case, because I was wondering why my two-handed backhand counter was so fast.
Okay.
Okay. I think that actually could be the case, because you meet it here, so there's not all that back motion.
There's less. You can accelerate through quicker, I think, and there's less backswing.
Well, it turns into more of a lefty forehand counter.
Yeah.
In its nature, it's actually more of a lefty forehand counter, which could be quicker.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely an argument for that. That's a good point.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks for teaching me about yourself, man.
Thank you for having me on. Good. I feel like I rambled a lot, but I'm coming off a tournament, had a lot to say, and that's it. We don't have any more to talk about.
We do. I think we're gonna do a separate. Maybe we do a bonus strategy one.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a short one.
Because I got so much energy. Let's just.
Yeah. But really quick, do you want to mention anything about just anything else before you sign off and close this pod? I don't know, to your fans, to your sponsors, or to your, to the haters out there, maybe. The Papa Jimmy haters.
I don't even know, man. I only got 15 people that have my phone. I don't know my haters. Oh man, no, I don't even.
Maybe thank Anna for the support. That might be nice.
Okay, yeah, should I do that? Are we still recording?
Yeah. What do you mean? This is on, dude. I'm asking you.
I thought we were done.
No, we're closing the pod right now.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Man.
Thanks to, of course, I gotta. You know what? I got a call from my mom a week ago. She's like, James, you never shout me out in your interviews, and I paid for your first paddle, your first this and that.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, all right. What's your mom's name?
Marissa.
Marissa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marissa.
She paid for my first tournament entry. She paid for my first paddle. I wasn't, she helped me out, and she didn't think I was going to be good either. She was like, just whatever to get James out of trouble. Let's do this stupid pickleball thing. And she was willing to pay for it. And she was always, I have the best parents ever. And it's funny because you hear about a lot of people that are that had parents that, didn't help them out a lot.
Yeah.
I couldn't have had better parents, just across the board, the most supportive, because in tennis you have parents sometimes that are overbearing, that are so focused on their own agenda and this and that. Yeah. But my parents were always, especially my dad was probably the best sports parent you could have possibly had. He was just, after every tournament I played, it was just you could lose or win and he would act the exact same way.
That's awesome.
And that just always gave me such a feeling of comfort, and just knowing that no matter what the result was, everything was fine. It was just a game. And I think at the end of the day, your motivation has to come from within. It can't come from outside sources, your parents and this and that, because it's going to crash and burn at the end.
Yeah.
So, That's actually, yeah. I'm glad that I remembered to do that because I
Okay.
never shouted them out, and I do have the best experience.
You mentioned it. You didn't really shout it out. Why don't you?
Yeah.
You want to shout it out?
What do I say? Shout out to my mom. And my
Yeah.
dad. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my dad, and shout out to Jordan for
There you go.
helping me remember.
There you go. Yeah, that's it, dude.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this conversation, go give Jimmy a little follow. Wait, you don't even have Instagram and stuff, right?
You know what? I have.
What
Instagram.
can they do for you? What can they do? A website? What do you got?
Yeah, so I am doing. I'm doing a newsletter, and I'm giving out a bunch of free coaching tips. I'm kind of falling in love with coaching and just kind of helping people out. I'm not selling anybody anything, and it's in my Instagram bio, or it's at james-ignatowich.com. Either way, you can put your email in and subscribe to the newsletter. And we're gonna make it pretty easy to unsubscribe. We're not gonna. I've had a bunch of annoying subscriptions where it's like I can't unsubscribe. I'm getting an email every week. We're not doing that. We're gonna send you, free coaching, free videos, and some inside stuff. And we're gonna make it good because I do really love coaching and like just talking about it and making people better because I think it's, this is such an awesome sport and it's done so much for me.
Awesome. What's your handle? What is it?
James Ignatowich.
James Ignatowich.
Yep.
Thanks, James. Jimmy.
Thank you.
And everyone, we'll see you in the next one. All right, bro.